beloved. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Please turn off all your cell phones until after Jumah, please. Thank you. Put them on vibrate. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All the praise, gratitude, and perfect appreciation belongs to Allah. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nastahdi. And we praise Him, we seek His assistance, we seek His guidance, and we seek His forgiveness. Man yahdillahu fahuwa muhtadi. Whoever Allah guides, then he has been rightly guided. وَمَن يُضْلِلْ فَلَا هَادِيَ لَهُ. And whoever Allah leaves astray, then for him there is no guidance, no one to guide. أَشْهَدُ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. I witness that no God exists except Allah, the Creator, the Almighty, the Most High, one and alone. And I witness that Muhammad, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. I witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, the messenger of God. Yes. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah's prayers upon him and the peace on him, wa ahlihi wa ashabihi ajma'in, and on his family and on his companions altogether. Amma ba'da. Dear people, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah. And I want to tell a little story. There were two tribes back in the time of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prayers and peace be upon him. And again, greetings here to this gathering, as well as those of you who may be overseas or watching on the internet. Thank you for your presence. So, back in the time of the Revelation, there were two tribes, and they were arguing about who had the most wealth. You know, and they argued so much that they even wanted to include bringing in their dead people, the wealth that the dead people had. To say we are more wealthy. You know, boasting, kind of bragging. And then Allah, He revealed this surah, and it's number 102. In the Quran. Let me pull it over here. Takathur. Oh, I can't use that one. Okay, relax. Y'all in a hurry? Thank you. All right. So, this particular translation here in Sahih International, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We seek refuge with Allah from the rejected enemy, and with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful Redeemer. So most of us know Yusuf Ali's is that the piling up, the mutual piling up, you know, of these worldly wealth increase, diverts you until you visit the graves. No, you are going to know. Soon you will know. And then again, soon you will know certainty. No, if you only knew with the knowledge of certainty that you will surely see hell, then you will surely see it with the eye of certainty. Then you will, after some time, you will be asked that day about the things that you received, that you were pleased and you delighted. So it doesn't say in here that seeking wealth, there's something wrong with seeking wealth. It's almost like, sometimes I wonder if we think there's something wrong with being wealthy. But it doesn't, as I look at it, it doesn't say. Let me just give you a qualifier here. You know, I don't say I'm right about anything that comes out my mouth today. I just say this how I see it. Is that okay? Good. Thank you. So, it doesn't say that we shouldn't seek wealth, but it's telling us that wealth, the intense pursuit of that stuff, it diverts you from more things that are more important. And the people used to say, my wealth, my wealth. But the response of the messenger of God, he said that your wealth is only the food that you eat, the clothes that you wear that get worn out, and what it is that you give in the way of Allah. So that would say to me that everything else then is not really your wealth. You know, that big house you got, when you're gone, it's going to still be here, right? Hopefully your wife, your family will still be in there, and whatever comes with that. So today's topic is invest your wealth, but this is part 2. And we talked about this the last time, invest your wealth, and we saw the simile that the verse said that those who invest their wealth, they are like a garden, trees, fruits, all of these good things. Today we want to look at the verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, and it's 261. And our intention is to stick to the time. I know we got to go back to work. So, our intention here is to really just to see what is the Quran saying. You know, we're not trying to get heavy or anything. I just want to, you know, before we can apply it, don't we need to understand what it's saying to us? Before we can even determine what it really means in our life, don't we need to understand what Allah is saying to us in His letter to us, His book, His holy book? So that really starts with definitions. And in definition is direction. And then you look for the characteristics and the form to follow that. So in this verse, Surah Al-Baqarah 261, it says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Mathalul ladina yunfikuna amwalahum fi sabilillahi kamathali habbatin ambatat sab'a sanabila fi kulli sulbulatin mi'atu habbin wallahu yudaifu liman yasha'u wallahu wasi'un alim. So basic translation, an example of those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah is like a seed which grows 7 spikes, and each spike is 100 grains, and Allah multiplies His reward for whom He wills, and Allah is all encompassing and knowing. So this instruction here starts with a comparison. That we're comparing the amazing comparison of the human characteristics of those people who give freely. They sacrifice their wealth. which is the cash, the property, animals, etc. And this reminds us of the verse that says, you will not attain righteousness until you give freely of that which you love. But whatever you give, surely Allah knows. So they gave freely in the path of Allah. So the intellect wants to ask a question now. What is this path of Allah, the Sabilillah? We talk about it, we use this language all the time, but you go further in definition, it simply means the way of excellence, the best way, and the way of divine guidance, and the way of exerting, making great effort. So an example would be for those who went to school, went to college, you had to pick a major, you had to pick a discipline, a field that you were going to study in. And then maybe when you graduated, you began to work in that field. You made effort in that discipline on that path. And some of you chose to be doctors or lawyers or teachers or barbers or construction workers. And some of you chose a path of business, or you worked some way in some other field. But whatever you chose, and those of you who are still choosing a path, whatever you choose, all of it is the path of Allah. You see? And all of these paths, these disciplines are going to lead you to Allah if you are making that exertion, that effort. You will eventually find Him. He put you on the path anyway. You know. And if we have some confusion about it, maybe we're resisting the path Allah want to put us on because we think we know better. I don't know, maybe. It's possible. So I was thinking about the example of Jacques Cousteau. You know, the world's eminent undersea explorer. Scientists made films about his work. He studied the secrets of the oceans. And it's reported that when he studied the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean and saw that those two waters couldn't mix, and then he read in the Quran that Allah had revealed this over 1,400 years ago, his soul obligated him. His heart, his soul, his intellect made him accept Islam just like that. You see? Because he was working in a discipline, but it led him to Allah. Can you see it? Cat Stevens comes to my mind, a musician. He gave himself to the path of music and became a singer. He accepted to submit himself to God. And of course our own Cassius Clay, right? Chose to be a boxer and became the great Muhammad Ali. Allah have mercy on his soul. Give him forgiveness and paradise. Same for Jacques Cousteau and for all who need Allah's mercy. And all of our pioneers in this place and all the places that have established, that sacrificed, that gave of their wealth for us to be here and have a place that's warm on this cold day to turn our attention to Allah. May Allah have mercy on all of them, forgive them all, and give them paradise. Ameen. So these are just some examples of how all the paths lead to Allah. Let's get back to the verse. So the next phrase says that these people who invest in the path of Allah, it gives you the metaphor, the simile. It says that they are like a seed. Now the other verse said that they are like a garden, right? This one says they are like a seed. But now, and the word is kamathali habbatin for those who know Arabic. But the question is, what kind of seed is it? Because all seeds are not alike. So we have to go deeper in definition to find out what kind of seed this is. So in our research, we found the word wahidatin al-habbi. that it is someone of the most perfect, complete, comprehensive love, affection, and attachment. I hope we're making these connections, that we can see the simile. And of course, we want to think about, how are these human beings like a seed? But this type of person, as I see it, is a seed of love. Because the word for seed is also the root, is also the word for love and affection and attachment. You see? And so Yusuf Ali's translation is not going to tell you that a seed of love. You have to dig into the language for yourself. And this seed of love is associated with the word Allah in this particular verse, because it says they give of their wealth in the path of Allah. They are like a seed. The example of them is like a seed. So whenever you see the word Allah, it's associated with love and affection. It's associated with attachment. And the human example would be the association, the attachment between a mother and a baby. How close that attachment is. And that continues throughout all of life unless it gets corrupted. But this attachment, then how much more should we be attached to the Almighty who created us and who's Rabbil Alamin? He gives everything that we need from our beginning state to what we consider to be the end. In this realm, we don't really know what the end is. But He guards us and protects us and cherishes us and provides for us everything from the beginning, from the seed on. And because of that love of Allah, they give their wealth freely. They're not stingy. And the definition goes on to say that the seed of love makes something grow. It brings forth vegetation like a plant. So can you see the idea of investment here? In spending of your wealth in the cause of God? And intellect asks another question. How does the seed grow? How does a human being grow? Now that's a study in and of itself. But the verse goes further. It says that the seed grows 7 spikes. So I'm looking at these spikes as like stalks of corn. And that becomes the return on the investment. Yunfikuna. The return on the investment when you give with love and affection. You get that reward. So I guess the opposite is also true. If you are not giving from your heart and soul with love and affection, then maybe you don't get the return. But the idea here is that the 7 stalks of corn, I'm saying, as a part of all of the growth, is created by the existence of the love that's within it. Same for the human being. Yes. So we're still talking about the type of people who behave actively and giving freely, investing their wealth because of that love of Allah. And then it says that in each of those stalks or spikes is 100 seeds. And Allah is such and such. There's an ellipsis here, meaning that it doesn't give you, there's no one word you can use that will give you all the information about what Allah is. But it does say what Allah does, that He does this thing. He supplies provision to whoever He wants. And Allah is far-reaching, extensive in knowledge. So let's just take a minute and look at this, because what I want to show you, I see the picture of a cornfield. You know how when you're driving in the country and you look over and you see these thousands of stalks of corn. It's a beautiful picture, right, of the green corn stalks, the green field of cornfield. You can see the abundance. But if we do the math, these people who are doing this kind of investing like that seed of love has 7 stalks times the 100 seeds that's in each stalk. Right? So if my math is correct, and I can be corrected, that's 700 seeds. And each has 7 stalks. You multiply that, that's 4,900 stalks times the 100 seeds. That's in those. That's 490,000 stalks times 100 seeds. That's the number so big I read it wrong this morning. That's 490 billion stalks. And it keeps on going. Because each of those have 100 seeds in them. Maybe that's why we have so much corn in our diet. Because it's just abundant like that, the way Allah made it, right? Everything, seems like everything has corn in it. Of course, I was eating some of that fruit with the water in it this morning, you know. Those of you who were here last time, right? Anyway, these people are like that. SubhanAllah, glory to Allah. How is His perfection above what they ascribe to Him? So 490 billion stalks with 100 seeds each. Can't even imagine it. You want to be a multi-millionaire? Right? We're pursuing this money and things. Then be this type of person who gives freely, who sacrifices like a seed of love. They're sacrificing in love in the path of discipline that Allah gave you. Be excellent. Be the best at what it is that you do. At least strive to be, and go find somebody that maybe is better than you and learn from them. You don't have to, we're so independent. I got to do it by myself. My experience, I learned I can't do nothing by myself except mess up. I'm just speaking from my experience. But when you submit to Allah like this, He brings everything to your aid. You just got to learn how to get out the way. And the last verse in that first surah that we read, it reminds us that you're going to be asked about the blessings that you were given, the things that you thought were delicious and delightful and that you enjoyed. You're going to be asked about that stuff. And the poor people used to say, oh, the rich people have everything to give. We don't have nothing to give. Well, you're going to be asked, even if all you got is a glass of water to give. Let us ask Allah for forgiveness. ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد عبده آمين. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Maybe this is more of a heady talk. I would love to speak more from my heart. The Quran was revealed on the heart. And sometimes we think we don't have a lot to give. Sometimes we think we're not enough as people, as human beings. And really you are enough. But where do we get this idea, this seed of an idea? See, the problem for many of us, and for I'll say even the world, is that we've gotten away from our original human nature, which is love. I went to a meeting a couple of days ago, and the guy that signed me in, somebody came from the back, a lady came from the back, so he spoke out to her, "Do you still love me?" Now, being who I am, I'm listening and I'm saying, oh, that's the soul asking, do you still love me? And isn't that what every single one of us want? We just want to be loved. But sometimes we don't know how, because we've been corrupted by the enemy to resist love. You know, his whole thing was he was jealous of what Allah promised us as human beings, promised Adam, the original human nature. And he refused to obey God. And then he acted arrogantly and became ungrateful and said, I'm going to wait on her. Give me some time. I'm going to wait on the path. I'm going to get them and show you they're not worthy of what you want to give them. That's a mindset. That's a heart set. That's a soul set. But that's not the truth that you're not worthy. Because he said he made you an excellent mold and pattern. We just got to get back to that. And for some, you know, the problem is that I speak for me. I grew up in a household that the love was dysfunctional. And I believe most of us, not all of us, some of you grew up in a very functional love where there was compassion and there was mercy and there was support. Some of you grew up in that. That wasn't my experience. There was a lot of judgment and hatred and punishment and frustration. And that's how we learned what we thought love was. And I don't believe I'm the only one. See? And it's taken me years to figure out that, you know, the parents, so you young folks, the parents is trying to deal with their own pain. It's just that my generation of parents was the great generation that fought in World War II and other wars. Our fathers. Over in foreign land for 39 months, in combat, 4 different times. Talking to a friend of mine the other day. He was telling me his father said that they had to sleep in their clothes, in their urine and stuff, right, for days in the situation that they were stuck in. And that dead bodies, right, you soldiers, you know what that's been in combat, you know what I'm talking about. Dead bodies all around. They're boys, they're friends. Dead. And they had to sleep with those bodies in that place where they were. Or sleep up against a tree with a gun and a machete in both hands, knowing that the enemy raided the camps at night. And if they raided their camp, they had to have the determination to kill all of them. See, I didn't experience that. My folks didn't talk about that, but I'm sure that changed my father, and I'm sure that changed my mother. All that time, right? They come back, not the same person. But why did they make all those sacrifices? They did it for the love of themselves, of the future they wanted us to have, which we all have, for the country, for God. They made a commitment. And so, growing up in some dysfunctional place, and even nowadays, you know, single family, single parent homes, you know, maybe I don't know, 20%, 30% of the youngsters nowadays actually have 2 parents in the house. Well, that does something to the mind. It does something to the heart. Now, maybe y'all have a different experience overseas, or maybe you know, I don't know, but I hope you can feel this. Whatever part resonates with you. And even throughout all of that, Allah pulled us out of that. So some of you young folks that grew up in this community, you didn't experience, you know, a drunkard father or, you know, a drug addict. Some of you did. Or a person who was just, you're an orphan. When your father's gone before you reach the age of purity, that's the definition of an orphan. And many of us are orphans. We could even say we are an orphan community. So none of this is in my notes. I'm just talking from here. But I do want to end this and get back to, all I'm trying to say is because of the dysfunction that we learned, the trauma that we experienced, we never really got past that. We never integrated that stuff from our childhood. So we don't really know how to love ourselves. Y'all get the point? I mean, that's really the point of the story, the lesson of the story. And we've got to face that stuff and feel with it to allow ourselves to be free from it. Whatever it is, trauma that you experience. And again, everybody didn't experience trauma or different degrees of trauma. But the love is real. So anyway, I want to encourage you to look at the next couple of verses in this surah. 262 talks about those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah and they do not follow up what they spent with reminders or injury. Then they're going to have a reward with their Lord, and there will be no fear and no grief on them. See, that's the big problem for us, fear. Fear, grief, and anger. And I know your intellect will say, no, that's not my problem. That's your problem, Zayd. We're all human beings, aren't we? And then I encourage you to look at 264, because it says, oh, you who believed or obedient, do not invalidate your spending with reminders or injury as one who spends his wealth only to be seen by people and does not believe in Allah, does not obey Allah and believe in the last day. His example is like that of a smooth stone which has dirt on it, but is hit by a heavy rain that leaves it bare. Then they are unable to keep anything of what they earned. And Allah does not guide the disbelieving people. So we pray Allah there's been some benefit here for us today. And I'd like to leave us with a couple of quotes from our beloved Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him. It says, the greatest wealth is richness of the soul. And that God is compassionate, this is another one, God is compassionate and fond of compassion. He gives to the compassionate what he does not give to the harsh. And you will never enter paradise without faith. And you will not complete your faith until you love one another. I thank you. I love you all. And may Allah continue to bless you, bless us. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا ارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين ربنا فاغفر لنا وأنت خير الغافرين الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد عبده ورسوله Ameen. Let us stand for the prayer.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah.
Allahu Akbar. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alaminir Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhaakumut takathur hatta zultumul maqabir. Kalla sawfa ta'lamun. Thumma kalla sawfa ta'lamun. Kalla law ta'lamuna ilmal yaqin. Latarawunna al-jahim. ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لا تسألون يومئذ عن النعيم. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alaminir Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. السلام ومنك السلام تبارك يا جلال الإكرام. الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Takbir! Takbir! Takbir!
Assalamu alaikum. Thank Imam Dr. Zayd Abdul Karim for that excellent khutbah. Please try to leave some charity, no matter what little bit you got. It will all help you in the for your striving on the Sabilillah. Just a few announcements. We know we're expecting snow tomorrow, so try to help out each other if the conditions are bad enough. And there's quite a few events going on around the masjid other than the normal ones, such as the weekend school on Sunday, Study al-Islam on Sunday, the intermediate Arabic class on Saturday, Boy Scout meeting on Saturday, beginners Arabic on Sunday, as well as the Shahada 101 course on Sunday. Keep in your prayers and visit the sick and shut in. And you can purchase your 2019 Tribute to the Leadership of Imam Muhammad calendar from Brother Ray Sharif. And also, I have a Muslim American Veteran 2019 calendar for sale that you can purchase after Jumah as well. The NBC Health and Fitness Expo is going on this weekend at the Convention Center. So all of us, I'm sure none of us are past the point where we don't need exercise. So if you get a chance, go check that out. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Multi-Faith Perspective Program is this Sunday, January the 13th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. And that's sponsored by the Interfaith Conference of Metropolitan Washington. And Imam Talib Sharif is the chairman of that. Again, that's 1313 New York Avenue this Sunday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Admission is free. Honor the man and celebrate his legacy at the Interfaith Shabbat service. That's next Friday at 5:30. At the Jewish Hebrew congregation. And Masjid Muhammad has a sign-up list downstairs in the business office for those who would like to attend. And also on the Monday, Martin Luther King holiday, the Muslim American Veterans Association are part of the annual parade. And that kicks off at 10 a.m. and I think the parade starts at 11, and that's in Anacostia. And lastly, you're invited to attend a general membership brunch and meeting on January the 27th at 10 a.m. here at Masjid Muhammad. And also there is a brothers meeting led by Imam Talib Sharif on Saturday morning, January the 19th at 9 a.m. and everybody is invited. Might be 10 a.m., 9 or 10 a.m. Put it on your calendars, inshallah. Thank you for listening. Jumah Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum.